Today we are going to install really easily and fast AdGuard Home, Pi-hole and Home Assistant with the possibility of installing many more services with just one click or two. We are going to use my favorite hypervisor, which is Proxmox. It's super easy to use, and if you want to have Home Assistant for your smart home or AdGuard Home or even Pi-hole to block most ads on all your house devices without having to install anything on each phone or PC, this is one of the easiest ways and, in my opinion, one of the funniest ways to use it. Now, I will be using this mini computer. You can use any computer that you already have. This is the Shui AU box. It looks like a Mac Mini, all metal enclosure, USB Type-C 3.2 on the side, along with USB Type-A 3.2 ports. And then on the back, it has a USB Type-C 4 display port, HDMI, USB Type-A 2.0, and 2 times 2.5 gigabit network ports. It has an AMD Ryzen 7 8745HS with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigs of SSD, but it's easy to open and upgrade the RAM up to 64 gigabytes, and it can take up to 2 SSDs. This mini PC has a spectacular performance to be used as a daily PC, including playing some games, editing videos and so on, but today it's going to be used as a server, which is one of my favorite ways of using devices such as this. It comes with Windows 11, and I'm going to use the second SSD to install Proxmox, but if your PC only has one SSD, then you will have to erase everything. So just make sure that you grab any data that you have. Probably if you are going to use an old computer that you have for this project, then probably the data there doesn't mean anything to you. But if it's a computer that you just stopped using a few weeks ago, then you might have some data there. Just make sure. So let's go for it. Now let's go to any computer that you have. Go to Google and search for Proxmox. Go to the download section and choose the version. Today the latest version is 9.1, and while it's downloading, you can also download Rufus. Now, if you are using Windows, then everything will be the same as you are going to see right over here. But if you are going to use macOS, you can download Balena Etcher instead of Rufus, and the process will be exactly the same. And now that we have Rufus and Proxmox, just plug in a USB flash drive into the computer, open Rufus, and drag the Proxmox image that we have on the desktop into the Rufus app. That's it. Now we can click on Start. It will ask if it can erase the data. We will say yes, and in about 2 minutes the installation USB is ready. Now I'm going to restart the computer because I did create the USB pen drive on this device, and as it has 2 SSDs, I will be using one of the SSDs to install Proxmox operating system. But in most cases, what we are going to do is to use a Windows computer or a Mac computer to create the USB pen drive, and then we will remove the pen drive from this computer and insert the pen drive on the computer that we are going to install Proxmox. As soon as the PC starts, let's press F12 or delete to go into the BIOS settings, and let's check if secure boot is disabled. If it's not disabled, then just disable it, and if you can't find it, then probably it doesn't have, and that's good to go. Now let's go to the save and exit menu and choose to boot from the USB flash drive. It will start the Proxmox installation, and we just need to choose the first option and the installation wizard start. The monitor that I'm using is a Philips 5K, so the text is a bit small, but there's nothing tricky about it. In the bottom right corner, you have the next button. You just need to pay attention to this step where you choose the disk. If you have more than one, which is my case, then choose your location, choose a password and email, and finally choose which Ethernet port you are going to use. In this Shui mini PC, we have 2. The one being used at this moment appears in green. We will also need to confirm the IP of our machine. We can just leave it what it suggests, or we can change it if we want to organize things in a different way. Then just confirm and install. It will take about 2 minutes, and when it's finished, it says you can reboot and that your server will be available at the IP that you can see there, followed by 2 dots 8006, which is Proxmox default port. So let's reboot, and when it starts, it will show on the screen the IP and port to access it. From this moment on, we no longer need the monitor for this computer. We can put the computer, which will be the Proxmox server, on any corner of our house, because we just need to connect the power input and also the Ethernet cable, and that is it, because it will be a server computer and we no longer need a display for it. Now, this is an overkill for most projects. I would use this computer, which is quite powerful, if I wanted my main Proxmox server with a lot of services, and over time probably an upgrade to the RAM so that I could install even more services, but only for Home Assistant or even AdGuard Home. Then if you have an older computer, it will be just fine. And now the fun part starts. On any computer on our network, we just need to enter the IP address. In my case, it's 192.168.2.155.2.8006. Accept the warning, which is the one that appears at the first time, and then log into Proxmox with the user root and the password that you have chosen. For now, it's empty. It shows information about your PC, like the CPU, memory, storage, what's being used, and so on. And if you have never used it, you are going to love it. If you already use it, then I'm sure that you love it. But let's go and install a few things. Let's go to Google and search for PVE helper scripts, which I've shared quite a few times here on the channel. This will be one more. You will find a page with more than 400 services that are very easy to install. You can browse by category on the left sidebar and see the various available services, or you can search if you already know what you want. Let's start with Home Assistant. Search for it and choose the OSVM version. And now just copy that line of code that you see on the page. Go to your Proxmox, choose PVE and then shell, and in the terminal that you see, just paste what you copied. And that's it. It will ask if you want the default values, just say yes, and 2 minutes later it's done. It asks if you want to keep the image it's downloaded, and this is optional, you can not. And now if you go to Home Assistant on the left side and click on Console, it will show the Home Assistant information. It says it has the IP 192.168.2.249.2.8123. So in your browser, just enter that IP and ta-da! It already says that it's preparing your Home Assistant. It's as easy as this, and any app that you want from the PVE helper scripts, you just need to copy and paste it. But while it's preparing, let's do something which is, we can see how easy it is. So let's copy the code again from PVE helper scripts page and go again to our Proxmox, PVE, shell, and paste it. So just basically what we did before. And what it will do is to install another Home Assistant server, and you can even create more. So this is very useful if you have a computer such as this with several services. You have your main Home Assistant where you just go to install your devices, your automatizations, and so on. But once you want to try this or that, you don't want to do that with your main server, because if you break anything, it's going to be a headache. So you can have another instance of Home Assistant or another. So we are not limited like some other scenarios that we have seen, that we install Home Assistant on a machine and the machine will be dedicated just for Home Assistant, which is not bad, but is a lot more limited than like this. Now, if we go to the first that we installed, we can already start the configuration. User and password, the optional location, and that's it. We can start adding our devices, but that's not going to be today. And this process will work for all the services that we can find right over there. Let's search for AdGuard Home. Just copy the line of code, go to Proxmox again, PVE, shell, and paste it. Follow the menu with the default values, and at the end it will give you an IP address. In my particular case, gave me 192.168.2.9.2.3000. So let's put that in our browser, and there it is. Of course, we can change the IPs to organize ourselves, but that's not today as well. Now just choose the interface, leave port at 53, choose a username and password, and that is it. You can now log in. It's going to be empty, of course, at the beginning, but if you take a look at mine, which I use on a daily basis, it has a lot of ads and tracking bots blocked, which is really awesome. But if by some reason, instead of AdGuard you want to use Pi-hole, because that's what your friends use, then it's simple as we just did with AdGuard. Just go to the PVE helper script, find Pi-hole, copy the line of code, go to Proxmox, PVE, shell, paste it, do the same process, and at the end you will see the IP that it has. Just put it in your browser and you will have your Pi-hole ready to work. Now, of course, now we will need to do some small configurations to have AdGuard or Pi-hole as our DNS server. So we just need to tell our router that we want to pass the traffic through this device right over here so that it can filter and block everything that we have. And it's surprising, if you have never used a DNS server, how many queries we get from several devices to several devices. Crazy. And once we start using AdGuard or Pi-hole or any other service, we will have a better idea of how much tracking data we get. And AdGuard will not do 100%, but it will block a lot of the trash and things that we don't want. But that's it for today. I just wanted to share with you how easy it is and how fun it is to pick up a computer and turn it into a Proxmox server, which is my favorite hypervisor. Now, there are a lot of other solutions out there which I also enjoy, I also use, but Proxmox is one of the funniest and easy ways to use. Now, this Shui Box is a quite powerful computer. It has a really nice price point for the performance that it has, and honestly, it would be better to be used as a computer for Windows, for gaming, for video editing, unless you want a powerful Proxmox server. In that particular case, if you want to install what we have seen, AdGuard Home Assistant, and a lot more services, then this will be great. If you are just going to use for AdGuard Home and Home Assistant and that is it, then probably there are other computers that you have on your home that are not being used and you can give a second life to it. This one right over here is great because we can upgrade and have a lot of services. For example, besides this, if you want to have a Plex server or a Jellyfin server and make your multimedia server along Home Assistant, AdGuard, and a lot more services that you will want, then it's a great option. That being said, hope that you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did so, don't forget that usual thumbs up right over there, which is really appreciated on this side of the screen. My name is Roberto George, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.